Hey guys, and welcome to another video with the girl with the shovel. I'm Angela, and today we are going to talk about coconut coir bricks. Yes, this lovely thing here, and how you can use it in your indoor space, your garden space, pretty much how to use this brick thing as soil. So coconut coir is actually a sustainable material versus peat moss, and I see a lot of gardeners kind of choosing to use coconut coir nowadays, and it's really great. It's great for the environment, and honestly, look at this thing. Shipping this, they compact it really tight, get it super dry, and then I know this has 2 bricks in it, and it can make 16, right? Yeah, 16 quarts of coconut coir soil. Wow, say that. It can make 16 quarts right here with just these 2 bricks. So it's really easy to ship. It's starting to become a lot more popular. It's a lot more sustainable since it's made out of coconuts, which is a sustainable material. And people really love it because it actually holds more moisture than peat moss does. And it's also more, less acidic. It's in that neutral range. It's more neutral as far as pH balance there. And so you can use these for microgreens. You can use them for seed starting. A lot of people use this just straight coconut coir for seed starting. And then you can also use it for your garden soil as a soil amendment. And you can also use it for your houseplants. Just be sure there are a couple more things you need to add. Don't just have your houseplant in straight coconut coir. I know sometimes you see them sold that way, but that is not sustainable for your houseplants and for your garden too. Don't put it just straight coconut coir in your garden. Your plants will not have the nutrients it needs because coconut coir is wonderful. It holds moisture, but it isn't very nutrient rich. So if you're wanting to use this as a soil, you'll need to add some fertilizer, add some, I know a lot of people add worm castings or some slow release fertilizers, and then some perlite to kind of lift it, make it a little airy so it isn't too dense and moist. But once you do that, you get a great base for your soil using just simple bricks like this. So now let's go into how to actually turn this thing into some soil. So to do that, you're going to need your coconut coir. You're also going to need, here I've got it right here, you're going to need lots of water. Warm water works best. Some people use boiling water, but then you can't really mix it. You could potentially burn yourself. So I just like to have warm water. Cold water works fine, it just takes longer. You'll need something, here I've got here, something to mix it in. So I've got one of these old storage totes that I'm going to be mixing my soil in today. Okay, to start off, I'm going to first open up my package, obviously, and get this plastic off of here. Now, like I said, I actually have 2 bricks in here. So it makes 16 quarts. I don't quite want that much right now. So I'm only going to take 1 brick here, and I'm going to leave the other one for later. Also, this one will make 8 quarts. If you don't want that much, or if you have a different brick that makes more, you can also like cut it in half, or you can, I know some people just chip off little pieces. They get a little chisel and just start breaking off pieces, and then they just rehydrate that. So if you don't want that much soil, you can do that. I'm going to use this whole brick for now though. So I'm just going to put it in here, and I'm going to pour my water on top of it. You can see it already starting to expand there. That soil coming off the top. There we go. Okay, now I am just going to let that sit. Break this in half now. You can see it's already starting to get in there. This one's breaking up really easy. I really like this one. Now I only added about half the water so far, so I've got some more to add, but look at that. It's already looking so gorgeous. But you can tell we've still got quite a bit of dry coconut in here. Let me flip that over. Make it flat on the bottom. Flip it over and then add the rest of the water here. Now, honestly, this bucket is large enough for me to put in both of the bricks. And I might do that here in a bit. I might put in the second brick and add more water because I do have this large tote that would work. Okay, so now it's sat for a few minutes. Now I'm just gonna break it up. I've got a bit more moist sections over there. You see I had a little bit of a few dry pieces in the middle there. But that was really fast. Took me about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna add a little bit of water. I was a little shy. It said for mine to go with 4.5 quarts of water. I added 4. Yeah. You know what? This might be good. Getting some wet pieces in the bottom here. Actually, yeah, I think this is good. Just give it a nice mix. Make sure all of it is nice and hydrated. Lovely. This is gorgeous. This is gorgeous right here. So the difference between coconut coir and coconut fiber is they say fiber is a lot more of these stringy pieces. And then here we go. Let me actually show you. So the fibers are these stringy pieces. So if you get something that's like a coconut fiber, it's usually a lot thicker, has a lot more pieces in it, and isn't so shredded like this is. So the coconut coir has more of that fine pieces instead of those fibers. I mean, you'll still get some, but that's the difference. Okay, and this is looking amazing. Okay, here we go. That is it. So that's all you need to do to get this gorgeous coconut coir ready for planting. Now, like I said, you can use this as is for your microgreens, things like that. You can use it for seeds as well. Some people do like to add in some vermiculite just to kind of break up the coconut coir a little bit and to hold more moisture in. One good thing about this versus buying a seed mix, like a seed starter soil mix, there you go, is that you know that it will be sterile, because when they package it, they dry it all out, and it's usually a lot more sterile than these bags of mixes that you buy that will sometimes have problems with like mold and such. And then you can also use it for your garden. You can mix it in with your compost. Make sure that you have some sort of fertilizer, some sort of nutrients like a compost, some worm castings, some slow release fertilizer, and then some aeration like a perlite. Some people add in like bark or wood chips. I would compost that a little bit more, but that's just personal preference. So that's like a garden mix. And then for your houseplants, which is predominantly what I use it for, you can use this, the coconut coir as your base, and then you can mix in some perlite, some fertilizer, so like worm castings or like your slow release fertilizer, and then that's it. That's really it. Just like coconut coir with the perlite and then some sort of nutrient to give some nutrients to your plants. But that's really it. And then just keep an eye on it. Make sure that coconut coir holds on to a lot of moisture. And so for people who have like really humid environments, just make sure that you let it dry out more frequently. I wouldn't use a coconut coir base soil for like your low light plants in the winter. I think that it won't be warm enough or bright enough to allow that coconut coir to drain and to dry out like a bunch of your plants need, and it could cause some overwatering issues. So in that case, I would recommend adding more perlite and stuff like that so that it drains better, maybe some sand. Make sure that it drains well for your low light plants. But for your highlight plants, it's really good because it holds on to more moisture. So a lot of your highlight locations, you have to water them like every single day. And this will kind of help hold on to some of that moisture and help your plants get a little bit more of that water before it drains out and evaporates from the sun. So I'm going to use this coconut coir for some seed starter mix. So I'm just going to put it as is into my seed pods and get some little seeds planted. Get ready for some little seedlings. I'm really excited. But I know, more plants around here. But let me know, what are you going to use your coconut coir for? And I hope that this video helped. I hope it showed you how easy it can be to use coconut coir bricks. I know it's a little intimidating because you're like, this is not soil, right? You're like, this is not soil. How do I use this? But hopefully this is kind of explained so you can get some nice, good looking soil pretty easy and pretty quick. Okay, and if you have any more questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. I'm also going to leave an affiliate link for the coconut coir that I personally purchased. I got it off of Amazon. I know it's hard to find the coconut coir bricks if it is not seed starting season. So like if it's not spring, they can sometimes be hard to come by. I know they have them all over the place in the spring and then they pull them off the shelves. But anyways, you can find that link in the description below. And let me know if you have any more questions or comments below. And then if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe to make sure that you don't miss any of my future videos. Have a good one, guys.